I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hey friends, Brian Santos here, and this is Quarantine with the Stars here on AfterBuzz TV. Today, I am ready to be saved, and I have some questions for the amazingly talented Jac Ross. Jac, thanks for being here.
Hey man, appreciate you for having me. I appreciate everybody on your network.
Thank you so much. We're super excited to have you here. Let's just kind of jump right in. I want to kind of just touch base with you and see how you're doing. How are you doing, and what are your thoughts on what's kind of happening with the world?
You know what? I'm doing well. There's sometimes some frustration, but on the contrary, my thoughts are this. I think what's going on will allow everybody to rethink their position, and maybe some positive change can come out of all of this negativity that we're going through.
Absolutely. There's been, some great changes happening already. So what do you think should happen next? What's next on the horizon?
You know what I think? What should happen next is the same energy that people are taking, marching and protesting. That has to be carried over to the polls now. Come November,
hmm
we got to keep that same energy and go vote for what you want to see.
Definitely. We've had, even before all the craziness with what's happening with the protests, we also had COVID. So how has that
Yeah,
been for you? How has been staying at home, being quarantined for you the last couple of months?
man, listen, COVID has definitely been just a life changer in general, especially for someone who creates and sings or anybody in the talent industry. You're forced to readjust. But for me, it's brought me back to what I say are my grassroots. I'm back creating from my living room and doing things that I've done in the beginning to get to where I am now. So it's been a friendly reminder, but very different. But I'll take it how it comes.
Definitely. Besides kind of making music, what else have you been doing? How are you kind of keeping busy?
You know what? One things that I like to do to stay busy is take a drive. You know, sometimes I like to just go down the road and make myself feel like I'm not in quarantine.
Mhm.
I got two lovely daughters. We'll do some things. Just step outside the house for a moment. On campus, just throwing rocks, just to feel like we're not locked in a box, so to speak. Those are just a few of the things that I like to do just to keep my mind off of the fact that I'm in quarantine.
Definitely. I think I've done the same thing too. Just even getting in a car, driving down to see nature, see
Yeah.
the beach, anything like that is, like you said, just a reminder that we are stuck inside, but we're not locked inside. So it's definitely good to kind of get out there. So, Jack, also you released a song earlier this year called It's Okay to Be Black. So what inspired you to write that song?
The inspiration behind my song "It's Okay to Be Black" is my oldest daughter. When she was born, she just naturally had this ebony skin, and I wanted her to have sort of a letter from her dad saying, "No matter what anybody else tells you, you're perfect, you're beautiful, and it's okay to be who you are." And also, on the contrary, I wanted Black people to know that you're kings and queens, and don't allow anyone to put you down for the color of your skin. So that alone, those two factors was the inspiration behind the song.
I love that. It's definitely a great message. How are you feeling about that song in today's climate with what's going on?
I'm actually excited that I wrote that song because of the climate and what's going on in our world and communities right now. I feel like the song gives a glimmer of hope. It doesn't incite negativity, but it incites us to be proud as individuals of who we are. So I'm very excited about the song. It's built for this time.
I love that. You have some other great music out there. I'm super excited to say that I'm quite the Empire fan. I was thrilled when I saw that your song Save was featured on Empire. So how did that
Yeah.
feel for your music to be on such a large platform on that show?
Man, I tell you, to see my song on Empire, it was just amazing. Being from a small town, it's a dream come true when you see something like that. It almost doesn't feel real. It almost feels like, okay, you know how people say, somebody pinched me? That was kind
hmm
of like that moment for me. Somebody pinched me. So it was just incredible. I had my whole family surrounding me, watching that show in that moment. And that's something I'll never forget.
That's great. I love to hear. I loved it on Empire. I love Empire, so it's amazing. Let's switch gears. Let's talk a little bit about Dark Child. I know you work closely with him. He's such a prolific member of the music industry. I want to know all about your relationship. Like, how did it start? How's it going now? Tell me all about it.
Well, the first thing I have to say about Dark Child is beyond him just being such a musical genius, he's just a great person. He's a great man, and we have so many things in common. So he's a brother to me. And to dive into the music, you know, we met through a friend of mine named Mezzo. Mezzo was working in a mall. Rodney happened to be coming through the mall in Florida, and it was my birthday. And Mezzo, he didn't hound Rodney, but he was just like, yo, I know a legend when I see one, and I got some songs I want to send you. So he sends him these songs, and Rodney's just like, hey, whatever you do, don't flood my email. And Mezzo floods it just a little bit, nothing crazy. And the last song, Coates' Story, the last song in that list was my song. And that was the first song that Rodney played when he was leaving the mall. And he turned back around, goes and finds Mezzo and says, I got to meet this guy. So I drove 2.5 hours up to Orlando a couple weeks later, met him, and I sung for him. The first song I sung was The Change Is Gonna Come. Then I sung an original song called Freedom. And I think from that day forth, I have been rocking with Rodney since. You know, he signed me, and then we eventually partnered up with Island Records. And as we say, the rest is history.
That's amazing. It's crazy. Like some of the stories of like how people get big in music, it's just like sometimes out of nowhere, you know, like meet in a
Yeah.
mall or all this kind of stuff. So that's amazing. I love hearing that. You've also been doing some really fun quarantine covers on your Instagram, which I love. You
Yeah.
covered some great songs already. Slow Down, Tennessee Whiskey. I also loved your Adore You cover because I love Harry Styles.
Right.
So those are such a great like light in these crazy times. What inspired you to want to do those covers?
Well, you know what? I think that last word you said, inspiration. I think just my drive is always to inspire other people and give people some hope and some healing during this crazy time. It's really, this stuff can get to you if you're not careful. And I feel like it is my responsibility as an entertainer to not just entertain, but to motivate and help bring positive change around the world. And this is just one of the few ways that I'm able to do this right now. So that was my inspiration.
That's amazing, Jack. You know, you're doing these live concerts on social media. We're here talking on Zoom. Isn't it amazing how we can still continue to connect and the entertainment industry is kind of still going through these technologies?
Listen, I think it is crazy how we can still connect. You know, every Monday and Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern, I do a YouTube live. And it amazes me how I'll have people come on, hey, Jack, watching from Africa or watching from France or Paris. Like, it's like we're literally connecting all over the world in ways that we weren't doing before. So I think it's pretty dope, actually. I love it.
That's amazing. I love to hear it. I'm super excited that you have fans all over the world. I can't wait to see what you have next in the music world. Jack, before we head out of here, what is next for you? What can fans expect when we're out of quarantine? What's your next move?
You know, what you can expect from me is a full release of an EP, which is forthcoming. It's on the way. The music is done, but due to the nature of what's going on around the world, we're kind of stepping back a little bit and being sensitive to the times. Also, you can expect though me to be traveling to your cities all around this globe. I'm so ready to be back on stage and just energizing and motivating people right in front of them in person. So a whole lot of that, a whole lot of new music, and just good times and good fun.
I love that, Jack. While your fans are waiting, where can they find you on social media?
Right now, you can find me on my Instagram account at Jac Ross. That's JacRoss.
Perfect. And your music is available for streaming, I'm assuming? Spotify, Apple Music, the works?
Most definitely. All
Perfect.
social media platforms. You got it.
Amazing. Everybody, make sure you go follow Jack on all the social media. Make sure you stream his music. You're going to love it. And be on the lookout for what new music he has coming out soon, as well as his possible tours when we're out of quarantine. Thank you so much again, Jack, for joining me. It was an absolute pleasure. I'm Brian Santos. You can find me on all social platforms at The Brian Santos. This has been Quarantine with the Stars with Jac Ross, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.